Hello there, welcome back to my channel. So as you can see, the topic that we will be discussing today is Seventh-day Adventists and their canvassing work, or Seventh-day Adventists and canvassing. Right, so that is what I want to talk to you all about today. Why I chosen this topic is to give even more illustration about myself when I was in the Seventh-day Adventist church. Right now, trust me, you're going to love what I'm going to say to you today in this video. You're going to love the content. It promises to be a mind kicker, right? It will challenge your mind to think about if Ellen White really is a prophet or not. Now, again, I have to point back to my three-part video. Why I'm no longer a Seventh-day Adventist. You would have heard that at one time I was doing evangelism, or in other words, I worked in crusade, right? I remember there was this one big crusade that I was working into. Right? Where it generated a lot of souls. I had left my job, as you know, I would have explained in the video. I left my job, right? I left my job, and having left my job, right, I got a work as a Bible worker and was working in a crusade. But the crusade had finished, and I had hoped that I would be employed by the church to work full-time as a Bible worker, right? Now I lose my good job, you understand, and then decided to do Bible work, all for the Lord and for the glory of God. So I was thinking at the time, right? And it didn't work out because I was not selected as a full-time Bible worker. I was told that the church don't need a full-time Bible worker at this time. That was what I was told. Now I had high hopes of getting that, And when that didn't work out, I thought to myself that perhaps I should try do Bible work in other crusades and so forth. But by the time that crusade had finished, all the crusade in my particular area was actually finished. And I couldn't get on to any other crusade. Crusade becomes something that, they used to do it often. But during that time period, there wasn't much crusade going on. So I told myself, what am I going to do? I don't have a job now. How am I going to get paid? So I decided to do the canvassing work, right? Of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. And my motivation for doing canvassing, of course, being a believer in Ellen White at that time, I read her books on canvassing. That is, there are two books in Ellen White apps that talk about canvassing. You have book one, the Colporteur Evangelist, which is a later book, and then you have one that is called Colporteur Ministry. I read both of them. And having read both of them, some selected quotes, I find somewhat of a motivation to do it, because I'm going to share with you some things what Ellen White says about the whole canvassing work. Now, I'm not going to share the quotes, right, because there would be too many, and I can't seem to pick out the best one to give to you right now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go into the app, take pictures of the topics, right? That way you can see what Ellen White has to say about Colporteur Ministry, right? Now in the Colporteur Ministry book, she says this. There's one chapter that says it's a work second to none, right? There's another part that says it's a soul winning work, right? There's another part that says you're accompanied by angels, chapter 17. Chapter 18 tells you that you'll get help for every difficulty. Chapter 19 says you must sell books that give the message. Chapter 24 tells you, titled The Far-Reaching Influence of Our Publications, and so forth, right? And so that shows you the content of what the book is actually saying. Now for the Colporteur Evangelist, it says similar things, right? Such as chapter 1, the importance of the work. Chapter 2, qualifications of the canvasser, right? Chapter 3 says the canvasser is a gospel worker. Chapter 4, revival of the work, that is the canvassing work. That goes to show you how important the canvassing work is, right? Chapter 8, chapter 7, chapter 6, a call for canvassers. Chapter 5, influence of our publications. Chapter 7, a call for recruits into canvassing. Chapter 8, needs of the canvassing work, right? Chapter 9, the canvasser and Bible work. Chapter 11, the power of the truth to convict and convert souls. Of course, that is true, the literature and so forth. Chapter 14 talks about pricing of our publications. Chapter 15 are books to be sold and read. So I'm going to take pictures of them and I'm going to send them to you, right, so that you can see them for yourself. So here are the pictures. Okay, so there you see the pictures for yourself, right? And there is but one quote that I'm going to share. I can't send it here, but I'm going to place it in the comment section. And the quote says, "My brethren and sisters, remember that one day you will stand before the Lord of all the earth to give an account of the deeds done in the body. Then your work will appear as it really is. The vineyard is large and the Lord is calling for laborers. Do not allow anything to keep you from the work of soul saving. The canvassing work is a most successful way of saving souls. Will you not try it?" So this is what you say, you know, the canvassing work, which is selling books and literatures and so forth. It is a most successful work. And then she asks, will you not try it? No. I can tell you that when I was doing canvassing, selling books and so forth, I was not so very successful with that. Perhaps some of them are successful with it, but the majority of them aren't. I can count on my 5 fingers how many of them actually, through selling books, are able to buy their house, are able to get a car and so forth. A minority at best. You understand? So you can't really make a living out of selling books. You only have very few persons actually are so good or manage to be so successful with it. Now, why did I mention a few? Because I happen to know who those few are. And I thought to myself that perhaps if they do it, I can do it too. But guess what? I wasn't so successful at all. Right? And now, after having left my job, you know, I wasn't living alone, you know. I was living with my mom at the time. And it caused a lot of problem between me and my mother. Anger from my mother and so forth. Expenses there. And I'm not contributing much. I'm getting personal with it, you know. But a lot of things happened with me and my mother. Some things that I'm not pleased about. But then again, I can't blame her. I cannot hold anything against my mother. You understand? Because if you had a son whose brain seemed to not be working, you understand, and do dumb things like that, you'd probably react to them in a negative way. You understand? Especially if that son happens to be an adult. And now, most people don't know about cults, you know. Most person, they don't understand about cults. So, due to that factor, I guess I can't. It's hard for me to really hold anything against my mother because she doesn't have the skills, you understand, and the knowledge to know what it's like when a person is brainwashed, when they have been recruited into a cult, what it does to the mind. And the reason why I say this, you know, is because Ellen White have it to say that she's a prophet, and they say she's a prophet. But apparently, she did not see that this canvassing work would not be a most successful work. Why? Because her so-called prophetic eye didn't pierce into the future and see the rise of technology. Her so-called prophetic eye did not see the rise of YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat, Zoom, and so many others, which eventually makes literature redundant. You understand? It basically makes literature a thing of the past. You understand? Whereas in her time, she could actually sell stuff and it actually worked. Her eyes did not see a rise in internet and so forth. So she speak. Her message, if she's a prophet, her message is for the end of time. But we'll find that her present message now, it is basically useless. A lot of them because of the change in times and so forth. And that's the difference between Ellen White's so-called prophetic voice and the prophetic voice of the Bible. Whatever the Bible prophesies, it lasts for all time. It can never get redundant. It can never get outdated. But Ellen White's so-called prophecy about the so-called prophetic voice or inspiration voice did not know that the canvassing work wouldn't be a successful work today. And so all those dumb things that I did in following the Seventh-day Adventist Church, I certainly paid the price for it. You understand? I certainly paid the price for it. But you know what? I'm thankful for one thing. I'm still young. You understand? And whereas my actions caused me to make a few steps backward in life, I am still young and capable of, by the grace of God, in undoing the things that I did. Where following Seventh-day Adventists is concerned. Thankfully, many, they get their awakening when they are old. You understand? By then they would have wasted all their years and so forth in the cult. And whatever they did or didn't do, it's too late to basically change that. You understand? For many of them, only God alone can actually heal and encourage their heart and the hurt that they will feel, knowing that they have wasted all their years in the cult. You understand? I just imagine, what if I didn't get my awakening? What if it was 20 years from now that I get my awakening? And this is why I find this ministry that I'm doing of so much importance. You understand? I find what I'm doing of much importance, even though many persons don't get it yet. But I sincerely believe that in time they will understand, they will see my perspective and understand why it is important to really tackle the issue of cults and false religion. Because what does Seventh-day Adventists have to say about what Ellen White say and canvassing work? They can't argue that it is a prophetic utterance of hers. How can they still say she's a prophet? And as a prophet, she didn't see the rise in technology, which would make canvassing a very difficult thing to do, to sell books and so forth. A lot of persons are not buying books. I mean, people still buy books, you know. But you can't look to make a living off books and so forth. But our writings give the impression that one can make a living, since it is a more successful work. And it is not. It is not a more successful work. No. Doing messages, giving messages to YouTube, WhatsApp, Facebook and all those things is a more successful work. Utilizing technology, not writing books and giving out literature. I mean, it's still good, but that's not the best way to transmit the message of the cross and the gospel. You understand? So this is a failed prophecy. They can't argue with this one. It's a failed, false utterance of Ellen G. White. You understand? If you had watched my previous video, you heard how I say how I was lost in Adventism. I was sold out to it. But thanks be to God, Dr. Walter Martin, in his book Kingdom of the Cult, he has one section that talks about cults. I think it is titled Cult Evading or something of that sort, where he's basically saying how a person, once they have gotten out of the snares of a cult, they return back to their emotional self, they go back to their true self. You understand? And I can say that that's what happened to me, which caused a dramatic change. Having come to the realization and having been awakened, I returned to my previous self, who I was before I came into the cult. As a matter of fact, I was far more improved as an individual now. I'm not only back to myself, I'm an improved version of myself before I came into the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Regarding what Dr. Walter Martin says, let me show you a picture of it. Check it out. Yes, so there you have it. I have returned to my previous self and far more improved. Yeah, I've returned to my previous self and I am far much better than I could ever be, right? And if you're watching this video and you're a Seventh-day Adventist, you can have this what I presently have now, right? Freedom, knowledge of the cross, and so forth. If you know someone who is ensnared in a cult, the same thing that happened for me can actually happen for them. So don't lose hope. God is able. I'm a perfect example of that God is able, right? Now, I end this video. I do hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, comment where necessary, subscribe to my channel, and click the bell icon so that you can receive notifications whenever I make new uploads. And last but not least, share this video with whom you know will benefit from an amazing video like this. Bye bye now.